Wassup YouTube? PokePrimer here, primed and ready to deliver you our Week 4 Team Builder for the PFCFL Season 2. We, the Hazleton Hoopas, are now sitting comfortably at 3-0 with a +9 differential, but we cannot get comfortable. We cannot get too comfortable, as the second place runner-ups in our division, being Corey France and the Johnson City Jigglypuffs, and Ray Shield and the Seattle Skarmorys, are both sitting comfortably at 2-1 with decent differentials, just separating them. They're not too far behind, so any loss can juggle us out of first place. We are actually first place overall in the league right now. We are the only undefeated, no, not the only undefeated team, but we have the highest differential of the undefeated teams, so that's a good thing. So we cannot let up yet, and this week is probably going to be one of our most difficult, because we are actually taking on Ray Shield and the Seattle Skarmorys, and they have an insanely scary roster, which includes Clefable, Weavile, Megalodios, Vaporeon, Rotom Heat, Lucario, Amoonguss, Steelix, Hitmontop, Mesprit, Kecleon, and Stoutland. Absolutely monstrous roster. A good mix of speed and power. Couple things I do notice, though. Stoutland isn't as scary of a threat unless it's Scarfed. It's not as scary of a threat because he doesn't have a way of keeping up the sand reliably on his field, so he won't have the ability to access Sand Rush, so he might have to use it as an Intimidator if he decides to bring it. Kecleon is massively scary with its Protean. It can swap around and be a whole bunch of different things, so I'm going to have to play really carefully with that. Potential Stealth Rockers being Kecleon, Mesprit, Steelix, and I think that's it. I don't know if Clefable gets rocks. If it does, then that's my fault for not thinking about it. But those are his potential rockers. Defoggers and Megalodios, and I'm not sure if he gets any other Defoggers. I don't believe he does. He's got decent wall cores. He's got a good Fairy Dragon Steel core with Steelix, Clefable, and Megalodios. He's got a really, really scary Firewater Grass core with Vaporeon, Rotom Heat, and Amoonguss. Absolutely devastating cores to break through. His biggest threat being his most offensive Mon, being Weavile, which is just easily his fastest Mon, which is the most difficult thing to outspeed and deal with on his whole team. But I feel like with this roster, I feel like with this crew that we've assembled here today, that we can most definitely surpass him in this match. So if you guys are hyped for another team builder, please make sure to leave a like down below. And without further ado, let's get into the team. The first Mon we're going to have is Chun-Li, our Mega Lopunny. Run a little bit differently this week because normally I like to run Adamant Lopunny, but in this case, due to the fact that he has a Weavile who taps out at 194 speed with a base 125, I couldn't afford to go Adamant because even at max speed Adamant, Weavile still outspeeds us, and that's a problem. So I decided to go Jolly this week with just enough speed to outspeed the Weavile with 1 point. I don't see him bringing a Scarf Weavile. That'd be kind of silly, but you never know. But I don't see it happening. He has no reason to. It outspeeds everything else on my team besides Lopunny, so I'd feel no reason for that. But we have 68 into our defense to bolster it just a little bit against some of his other physical threats and against potential Psy Shocks from Mesprit and Megalodios. We have max attack, so we can hit as hard as possible, and then the 4s just go anywhere else. Moveset. I wanted to try and go more for coverage this week. High Jump Kick and Iron Tail are perfect for his team. High Jump Kick handles his huge fighting weakness in Weavile, Lucario, Steelix, Kecleon, and Stoutland. All of them initially have a weakness to it, and I can plan around. Sorry about that. I'm trying to get lunch too. But I can plan around the typings that Kecleon can turn into, as even if he tries to turn into a ghost type, since I have Scrappy, I don't have to worry about it. I can just click high jump kick and guarantee still hit it. Iron Tail is there for mainly just for his Clefable, because I noticed that Clefable is just a threat. If a Clefable is left to sit around and with nothing to do anything against it, you don't win. Clefable can just shut down a whole team really, really fast, if left untouched. So there's definitely that. That's a huge issue. So the Iron Tail is there to do massive damage to that. It should do a decent chunk because we have a massive attack stat, so we should be able to hit it real hard. I threw Return on there because looking through like elemental punches and whatnot, I saw no reason to bring Fire Punch. We already cover all the things that are weak to fire on his team with High Jump Kick, barring Amoonguss, which we can handle with other mons in our team. We're not looking to take care of Amoonguss with Chun-Li. Ice Punch, again, would only cover the Amoonguss, and that just kind of seems like a waste. Thunder Punch would only cover the Vaporeon, so that was also a waste. So I decided to just go for Return because it's nice. It's Stab. It'll be at a base power of 102 since we're going to be at max happiness. I'm going to make sure we're at max happiness, but it's going to have a base power of 102. With the Stab, it's going to cause massive damage, sometimes more damage than what a super effective Elemental Punch would do, or usually about the same. So it'll be hitting the Amoonguss, the Vaporeon, Rotom, everything else doesn't resist it really, really hard, and potentially allowing us to pick up two hit KOs on mons we might not have been able to before. So that's really, really important. The last move we have is Thunder Wave, because if we can Thunder Wave on a switch in, or if we can force something out and Thunder Wave something else, that's essentially the thing we want to do. Because we want to try and, I don't want to win by hacks, but if hacks can help us, by all means. If you can get a few full paras on some mons, that could be fantastic. We could also potentially stop some huge threats that might try to set up on us, or something like that. I mean, he has two mons that are immune to it, but at the end of the day, that's not too big of a deal, because we can slow down his team so that the rest of our mons who are a bit slower can handle everything else a little better. Or if he brings in a potential Scarfer as well, say he has a Scarfed Rotom Heat, that won't help us at all. That was a terrible example. Why am I stupid? Say if he has a Scarfed Lucario, brings it in Paralyzed, boom, practically not Scarfed anymore. Scarfed Mesprit, boom, practically not Scarfed anymore. You know, stuff like that. It could be really, really useful to have on the team. The next mon we're bringing is King Ghidorah, the Choice Scarfed Hydreigon. With this spread, we would outspeed a Scarfed Lucario. That was kind of the goal. As soon as I thought of Scarfed Lucario, which is his third fastest mon, but his fastest non-Mega and not Weavile mon, so I decided I would go try to outspeed it by 2 points, so that even if the Scarf rounded up, we would still outspeed it 100% of the time by at least a point or two. And that's kind of important, because if he decides to bring Scarfed Lucario, that would be a huge threat to our team, especially Mega Lopunny, as it would definitely outspeed Mega Lopunny. So having Hydreigon be able to outspeed the Lucario, if it's Scarfed, is really, really nice. And then we can hit it with a non-stab but hard-hitting Flamethrower with our max special attack, so that we can completely just destroy that thing immediately. We also are carrying Dark Pulse, Surf, and Draco Meteor. It's pretty much the best coverage we can have for his team. Dark Pulse is there for more or less the Mesprit. We have something that can hit that thing hard. We also have the Surf here, so that we can hit the Steelix and the Rotom Heat especially hard. The Steelix won't take a Surf very nicely, and the Rotom Heat won't either unless he's built specially defensive, which, again, we can handle that in other ways if it is specially defensive, but regardless, that's what we need to do. Draco Meteor's there because even at basically Draco Meteor 100% of the time, 2 shots Mega Latias. A fully specially invested Timid Hydreigon with Draco Meteor actually pretty much has a huge chance to OHKO Mega Latias, and if we can get Stealth Rocks up before Mega Latias comes in, Mega Latias guaranteed dies Draco Meteor 100% of the time. And he only has one mon on his team that is immune to it in the form of Clefable. So if we can get Clefable out of there at some point earlier on in the match, we can definitely do some serious damage to his team with that Draco Meteor. Nothing on his team is really going to appreciate it necessarily. Even if it resists it, it's going to probably do close to half, if not half. So that's really nice to have. Something that can just punch holes through his team. So King Ghidorah is going to put in a lot of work this week. The 52 defense EVs are just in case we need to take a physical hit. It'll bolster it a little bit, but that's the best we can do with that. Next up for our Umon this week, we're going to bring Zitz the Seismitoad, holding the leftovers, running a physically defensive set this week, but with a whole bunch of EVs all across the board. Basically, we're running a relaxed nature, so it's going to lower our speed. But I do want to be able... See, this set's really weird to me because I want to be able to still eat some special hits. I won't eat many, but I want to eat 1 or 2 maybe. So that's why I don't want a special defense lowering nature. And I'm going to be hitting on both this physical and special side, so I can't really have a nature lowering those. So I kind of decided I would still go with a relaxed nature, but I did throw 60 EVs into our speed. That brings us up to 91, which is exactly 1 point faster than Steelix and Amoonguss at max speed. Now, do I think he would ever run max speed on both of them? Not a chance. But do I think it's worth it running that speed investment? Actually, no, I don't. No, I don't. Now that I'm really thinking about it, this is just asinine. So I'm going to throw this. Throw 60 there. Throw 20 there. That should be good. Alright, so that's going to be our EV spread. 164 HP, keep us at a nice and odd number. 20 into our attack, 12 into our special attack, just for a little bit of extra oomph into our hits. Max defense, so that we can eat as many physical hits as possible, and then that last 60 into special defense. Pretty much makes us a good overall wall, but still more physically focused, but still we can eat some hits sometimes. Our moveset's kind of the way I need it to be. Stealth Rocks, mainly just to set them up so we can guarantee some OHKOs on some Mons. Scald is there for the Rotom and the Steelix. This is our switch into Rotom almost every time, unless it's packing HP Grass, which we can scout for. But 100% our switch into Rotom if he brings it. Drain Punch is here to hit all his fighting weaknesses. This could also be a switch into Weavile, as Weavile can't really do all that much to us. Even though it's not resisted, it's like neutral, it still can't do all that much to us. So we can work with that. And potentially hit it with a Drain Punch. And Poison Jab is there, so we at least have something else to hit the Clefable super effectively with, if everything all falls apart. Very simple set. Pretty simple, I guess. Next up, we're going to have Ghostbuster, our leftovers holding, also physically defensive Dusknoir with the Frisk ability. I forgot to make you shiny. Oops. With the Frisk ability, so that we can scout his team for items. 248 HP, 4 into attack, 4 into special defense, and max defense with an impish nature. Very, very simple, very standard set. Will-O-Wisp is there to burn potential threats on switch-in and stuff like that. Break is there specifically because we live a knockoff. We do live a knockoff from a Weavile. And Break OHKOs it straight up. Just completely annihilates it. So having that there is really nice. So if we can whittle something down and get a kill with Dusknoir, if we can like pick something off real quick with a Shadow Sneak, and he brings Weavile in, we just click Break, as we know that the Break will kill it, and that's one massive threat gone. Thunder Punch is theirs because we needed something to hit the Vaporeon, and we didn't have that yet. And then Shadow Sneak is there just for coverage, and it'll allow us to hit the Mega Latias and the Mesprit for super effective damage. Very, very simple standard set. Nothing too serious. Next up, we're going to have our Shaman, who's going to be Assault Vested this week, and by God, I'm excited about this set. I'm really excited about this set. If I can get it to actually happen, which actually, since we're doing it on Showdown, we're good. But, basically, the whole plan behind this set is Ominous Wind is here. It's a 4th gen move, but since we're on Showdown, it works. It'll work perfectly fine, and we're good to go. But, we have the Ominous Wind there for the Mega Latias and the Mesprit. And if anything decides to switch in on us, we potentially could go ahead and get those stat boosts if it comes down to that, which would be fantastic. If we can get a full stat boost on Shaman, we could potentially sweep the match. Because I believe, let me think here, 60, that'd be 67.5. That would take us up to 1. Yeah, if we got the stat boosts off of Ominous Wind, we would outspeed his whole team for 1. We can live in Ice Shard, so that's a dead Weavile to an HP fighting. And since we outspeed his whole team, we can just kind of sweep. Because we're rocking a Modest Nature, so our hits are going to hit extra hard. Max special attack as well. We got 124 HP, so we have something to back up the Assault Vest. 8 into our special defense, because with our hidden power, it lowered our IVs, so we had to work with that. And then we have 124 into our speed. This way, we outspeed his Hitmontop naturally. So we have the Psychic there, so we can hit the Hitmontop super effectively. We outspeed it, so we're good to go there. We also hit the Amoonguss with the Psychic as well, which is even better. But we got Seed Flare, which is going to hit the Vaporeon. We need something else to hit it, and it's going to hit really hard on anything that doesn't resist it as well, being stab and everything. We have the Hidden Power Fighting to hit all of those massive fighting weaknesses on his team, and HP Fighting actually does OHKO, or has a very good chance to OHKO Weavile, so after Rocks, it would kill it 100%. And then Ominous Wind is there to potentially get those stat boosts, and I would be super hyped. I'd be super hyped if we can get that, because then Shaman could sweep, and that'd be fantastic. Next, we have 3 Fancy 5U, the Gardevoir. This is kind of one of our most interesting sets, as we are holding a Babiri Berry. This is to guarantee that we live either a Bullet Punch from a Lucario or a Heavy Slam from a Steelix. That's one of the biggest things for this Gardevoir, is because those 2 big threats are there, and they would normally shut us down, and we would be forced to switch. Well, in this case, Focus Blast OHKOs both of them, and if they go for either of those moves, we straight up just kill them. We live it, and we straight up kill them. We also have Psychic to hit the Amoonguss and the Hitmontop, And we have Thunderbolt to hit the Vaporeon, and Shadow Ball to hit the Megalodios and the Mesprit. Probably about the best coverage we could get for this Mon. So he had 76 HP, just to make sure that we live those hits as well, just a little better. Max special attack, and then 180 speed with a Timid Nature to guarantee that we outspeed the Hitmontop naturally. Because I like outspeeding things. So that's going to be our team against Ray. Hopefully it all works out. If you guys are hyped for another week and to potentially see us go 4-0, please make sure to leave a like down below and subscribe if you haven't already. And I'll see you guys when the battle comes up. Until next time, guys, I'm PokePrimer, signing off.